But, I mean, does he have that kind of power? Due to their declarations of annihilating our adversaries, we possess missiles of an unknown reach, surpassing even our own understanding. A statement never overlooked, echoing a formidable warning. But let's go back to the first sentence of your answer to this question, because just like you, the U.S. economics professor at Columbia University, Jeffrey Sachs, made a diagnosis, shedding light on the situation. Once again, Israel, and he warned about Iran. You will recall that he had previously cursed Netanyahu. Trump shared a video of him. In that video, he was saying this. He said that Netanyahu is doing his best to bring the U.S. into a war with Iran, and that this should never be allowed. Now, Chalar Hoka said, if Iran is attacked, World War III will erupt. This statement can be attributed to Jeffrey Sachs, who was cited by Trump. The only dissident, the only academic, says the same thing. If you attack Iran, he says, it will end in World War III.
A war against Iran would be a World War III.
A war with Iran would be a third world war, so that's the point. Iran is not alone and will not be alone, and if we go to war with Iran, we are expanding the war with Russia. We have the possibility of peace with Russia, but we also have the possibility of nuclear war. The two possibilities are very close to each other, and if we go to war with Iran, it is very likely that we will turn it into a nuclear war.
Hodja Chaler, you were saying that. I was saying this too. I mean, you will remember that I have sworn seriously here before. Who's a man? We also remember this Jeffrey Sachs, an economist at Columbia University. He is the leader of the Palestinian protests. This is an academic who has such a clear position on almost every issue, such as Zionism, Netanyahu's genocide. And his Marangat is very strong and he speaks very clearly. In other words, he never uses the normal language that academics sometimes choose, a language that the average citizen on the street would not understand. Netanyahu says that Netanyahu will do this and that, and if you do it this time, he says that in the end, this is the Third World War. Mr. Elchin, what is your view here? Is this an example of coercive diplomacy? Is Trump, as usual, trying to open the negotiations at the highest level and threaten blah, 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 and try to get the negotiating table to sit down? Can he do that? What do you think?
On the other side, he opposed Denmark. He talks to everyone. Trump, no, I insist, he went to Minsk and said things that would not happen. But here, with all these statements of Trump, the Hamas issue, we need to look at these. He says forward to these threats, but then he sees that this is not feasible. And I would say softening, but in a strange way. You know, it's a bit of a deviation, and he prefers to go about it in a more joking way, maybe to a point. Oh, in other words, I would turn the area where Hamas lives into a tourist resort in the coming period. Disaster description. He's still saying that today, but I've given up. So that's how it couldn't happen in the beginning. Now, America has a very big handicap here. I think that handicap actually consists of 4 factors. The first one is he has turned the whole world against him. I mean, this last economic, political, whichever way you look at it. So in the unlikely event that the rule of law actually exists there, as a result, our citizen there was also stopped by law. I mean, even without that, the United States of America is presenting itself in the world as a country that does not know what it is doing and has a strange attitude.